Namaste and welcome to Beyond the Obvious. My name is Karan Datta, and today I want to speak to you about a topic which is very, very important, which is geopolitical events and its implications on economies and capital markets. And many times, as citizens, we don't realize the importance of all of these events taking place and its implication on our lives directly. So for example, मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. पिछले 2 साल में आप देखिए सीक्वेंस ऑफ इवेंट्स, कितने सारे इवेंट्स हो चुके हैं, and each one of them has some impact on us as Indians and on our economy as well as on our investments. Let me give you some examples of what has been happening in the last 18 months or so. It started off with Hong Kong protests. Right after that, we had COVID. At some stage after COVID, we had Galwan incident with China. Prior to that, we had the surgical strikes with Pakistan. In between all of this, the US decided to vacate Afghanistan. And उसके बाद आपने सब ने सुना होगा about Sri Lanka's economic turmoil. Imran Khan left as Prime Minister of Pakistan, and finally we have had Ukraine war with Russia. So अगर आप पूरा सीक्वेंस देखें 18-20 महीने का, you will notice that हर 2 महीने में कुछ ना कुछ इवेंट हो रहा है, and that is starting to create economic implications. And it's very important to be aware of all of these because, like I said, they have a profound impact on our lives. And I can just share with you some of these impacts because they're starting to now touch many countries. Number one impact is inflation in the world, and you can see that the West, in America and in Europe, particularly in both these spheres, inflation is now touching anything between 8 to 9%. Last time inflation was about 9% was about 45 years ago in both the sectors, both Europe and in the US. So एक पूरा generation ने inflation 9% पे देखा ही नहीं है. So they're starting to realize that 9% has happened to them after 45-50 long years. So the steps that they're taking are also kind of untested. And obviously there will be some results, but the point that I'm just trying to make is that each one of those steps, the impact will only be known after some time. If you look at the other impact that events are taking place, the other impact of all of these events is supply chain disruption. The zero COVID policy of China has meant that there is a complete supply chain disruption in the world. So as a result, what's happening is simple things are not available. अगर आपको कैमरा खरीदना है या कंप्यूटर खरीदना है या गाड़ी खरीदनी है, the timelines have just increased exponentially. So imagine at one stage inflation is going up and supply chains are getting disrupted. Clearly that has implications on us as consumers and on our portfolios. But the third biggest impact of all these geopolitical events is the breakdown of trust. Can you imagine that the Europeans now don't trust the Russians, the Americans don't trust the Chinese, and in all of this, what is also happening is that corporations are at the forefront of this engagement. So there is a general breakdown of trust, and some nation has to step in and bridge the trust gap. This is where I think India has a pivotal role to play over the next decade or two to become one of those countries that can step in and kind of important role in bridging the trust deficit. It will not be the only country that will do so, but it will be an important nation in the global sphere to bridge the trust gap. But what does all this mean for our economy, and what does it mean for capital markets? I think there are 2 or 3 takeaways in all of this. India will become a manufacturing destination. A lot of efforts are being made, are being taken, and sequentially you'll see that things like PLI, etc., are really going to help India take important steps towards manufacturing. Again, here I'm not trying to say that India will be the only beneficiary of manufacturing, but it will be one of the big beneficiaries of manufacturing. Even within manufacturing, it probably be high-end manufacturing. So if you're building portfolios, if you're starting to look at how should your investments look like, then some of your investments should have funds or stocks which are geared towards manufacturing. The second big advantage for India will be our digital capabilities, which in my opinion are at least 10 years ahead of the world. So that basically means that digitally our nation has the capacity and capability to serve 1 billion people. Now that means a lot. And like I said, we are at least 10 years ahead of the world. So if you club manufacturing and digital capabilities, it means that we have the capacity to kind of bridge the gap that the world would see. And the third most important thing is that India has the capacity and the capability plus the experience of creating wealth. Indian capital markets over the last 25-30 years have delivered over 20% compounded returns. So if you get the portfolios right, if you stay invested and you trust the entrepreneurs in India, India would be the right destination for wealth creation. Having said that, keep an eye out for events that are taking place in the world. Take a cautious step because the next 2 to 3 years could be little volatile. But all in all, take a 30-year view, take a 2-decade view, and this is the place to create wealth. Thank you for listening to me.